Hello, this is the University Success Analysis Project. Moving on to the next slide. This is the ER diagram in which we have shown how the data flows from one data sheet to another data sheet. And going to the Power BI dashboards. So this is the front home dashboard in through which you can navigate to all the dashboards and on through through all the questions. And this is the first dashboard where you have all the counts of the countries, and this is the second dashboard. Have all the other things. This is the third one. This is the fourth one. This is the fifth one. This is the last the dashboard. And the Power BI questions are, so this is the first question, that how many universities are there in each country. So the visualization was created with the help of country file, in which we count the number of universities in each nation using the country name column. There are different numbers of universities in different nations of like United States and the United Kingdom have more, while some have fewer. So there are multiple reasons for this happening, like population density, economic growth, political agendas. It is crucial to remember that a nation's number of institutions does not necessarily reflect the caliber of its system of higher learning. So moving on to the second question. It is, what is distribution of international students across different countries? So as through the chart, we can see that it is again USA. So the PCT international students from the university year table was used for it, and country name from the country table was used to construct the visualization, which displays the distribution of international students by countries. So the distribution of international students across different countries can vary from year to year, and so it's not uniform basically. And with some countries being much more popular destinations than others, the distribution is influenced by a number of factors, including the quality and reputation of educational institutions, the cost of living and tuition, the availability of scholarships and financial aid, the job market for graduates, and the cultural environment and language. So the next question is that which country has the highest number of female students enrolled in universities, and how many universities were ranked by each ranking system? So these are two questions in the one. So for the country name, we took the country name from the country table, and as the PCT female students from the university, person of female students from the university year table for each country to create this visualizations to find the nation with the most female students, and through the uh, visual you can find out that it's the United States. And for distribution of number of universities under each ranking system, the system name is used as legend and count of universities in value. The country with the highest number of female students enrolled in universities can change over time due to various factors, including changes in education policies, demographics, and societal attitudes also. And according to this database, most female students are in America. So it's important to note that the exact number of universities ranked by these systems also may change from year to year as they update their methodologies and include more institutions. So the next one is, what is the average score for universities according to each ranking system? So here we have put it a multi-row cards for displaying the college name and average of score, in which we took the university name from the university underscore name column from the university table, and we took score column from the university ranking year and took its average, added the slices so that only the universities under the certain system will come. So each of these ranking system uses different criteria to assess and rank universities, such as number of students, academic reputation, student to faculty ratios, international diversity, and many more. So as a result, the rankings for a particular university can vary significantly depend on which ranking system is used. Additionally, it is important to keep in mind that university rankings are based on different criteria, and some universities may perform better in certain criteria than others. Going on to the next one. So, how does the ranking system affect the university's student staff ratio? So the visualization basically demonstrates how different ranking systems affect the student staff ratio at various universities. To visualize this relationship, we may also utilize various visualizations or plots. According to the visual ranking system might have a favorable effect on the ratio of faculty to students and universities. And basically, the higher ranked universities tend to have higher ratios. So the next one, what are the most important criteria considered by ranking systems? So this is a line chart visual in which we have used criteria name and university ID. Here we counted the number of colleges under one criteria. So the visual represent the total number of visuals under a certain criteria. This will aid in determining the important criteria that universities should use to rank areas that need the most improvement, basically. And the next one is there a correlation between a university score and the number of international students? So there's a ribbon chart in this plot. Uh, we have two ribbons, and one is average score and one is average percent of international students. As we can see in the graph, it looks like a strong positive relationship between a university score and the number of international students. Also, there is a huge increase in the average score when number of international students started to come in account. So that's what. So, how does the percentage of female students impact the university's ranking? This is the next one. And in this scatter plot, we can observe the link between the number of international students and university grades. And the correlation coefficient of in this between the two variables was 0.78, which is regarded as a strong correlation. So this indicates a high and favorable correlation between the university rating and the proportion of female students in a university. So the question comes like which university has the highest number of students? This was the use of card representation. It can be seen that Arizona State University was the greatest has the greatest number of students, or the highest number of students. The fact that Arizona State can house a sizable number of students is a testament to the university's extensive programs and many offerings and many other facilities too. The knowledge gathered from this visualization helps schools benchmark their enrollment figures and help in successfully managing student populations too. So this is how does the percentage of international students vary across different universities? So investigating any patterns or outliers in the distribution of this stream map among basically among various universities, these institutions are all outliers because they enroll a disproportionately large number of foreign students compared to other universities. So next one is there a correlation between a university's ranking and its student staff ratio? So here we have plotted scatter plot. So examining a university's rating and its student staff ratio reveals insights into institutional performance. Further study can uncover also factors affecting this link, even if direct correlation isn't immediately evident. Universities with lower ratio may, prioritize individualized instruction potentially enhancing student happiness. Rankings, high ratio may be found out at research focused or specialized schools without harming rankings. Thoroughly investigating this correlation can aid institutions in optimizing resources too, which can improve teaching standards, enhancing student experiences, ultimately boosting the college ranks too. And coming to the next one, how does the number of students in universities change over time? So as per the visualization of line chart, there is not so much of a huge significant change till 2015. It's quite a straight line, and but after the year, there is a huge drop in the total number of students. Next one, and is there a correlation between a university's ranking score and the student staff ratio over the years? So in this chart, we can see that relationship between the average score at a university and the student staff ratio offers information on both academic performance and resource allocation. How it's crucial to take into account a variety of factors affecting academic achievement. The correlation implies that institutions with moderate student staff ratios get low average scores, but larger scoring institutions could place a larger priority on the output of basically their research, the caliber of its professors, or specialized programs that result in a higher student staff ratio to maintain a balanced approach to academic achievement. Institutions can use the research to make informed decisions about budget allocation, faculty recruiting, and student support programs too. Moving on to the next one, how does the percentage of international students vary across different years? So as for utilizing the trend in the number of international students uh, in universities over multiple years, a rise can be noted in number of international students between the years 2010 to 2015. But after that, there has been a significant downfall, which can be noted in the trend. And moving forward, so what is the impact of universities ranking on the number of international students it attracts? So as for the visual, higher ranked universities tend to attract more international students, and the trend is increasing with time. So as the average ranking increases, the number of international students also increase. So is there a relationship between a university's ranking score and the percentage of female students enrolled? Our next question. So as per the visual, the average female students does not make a noticeable change while the average score changes a lot over the period of time. So moving on to the next one, and how does the percentage of international students affect the university student staff ratio? Let's see into this. So the ratio of students to staff and the proportion of international students are only marginally negative correlated. So as a result, universities with a larger proportion of international students typically have lower student staff ratio. So basically, there is a weak negative correlation between the percentage of international student and the student staff ratio. So colleges with a larger proportion have lower student to staff ratios in comparison to international students. Moving on to the next one. So, are there any significant trends or patterns in the rankings of universities from different countries? So, visualizations highlighting trends or patterns in university rankings over the time. Yeah, and there have been some few major trends like which we have noticed using the slicers. So they were that United States and United Kingdom, Switzerland, and Sweden have the highest average scores among all of the colleges. So moving on, these are the EDA questions now coming on. So this was the question that is there a correlation between the country's GDP and the number of universities? So this question cannot be answered because basically the data set did not contain any column regarding GDP. So the data was insufficient, so it is not possible to answer. So moving on to the next one. So how has the number of universities changed over the years in each country? So here, while in some nations the number of universities has decreased too, but the number of universities has gradually increased in some countries. But in total over the past, there have been a lot more universities built around the globe. So this is a table showing the change in the number of universities over the years for each country. In this, we can also apply the filter for country name. So as we can see, like in which year that for a specific country, how many total number of universities are there for a specific year. So moving on to the next question. Again, this was a question that is there a relationship between a country's population and the number of universities. So there was no column or no information about the population, and there was no way that it can be calculated. So yeah, because of insufficient information, this cannot be done. So moving on. So fourth one. So are there any common criteria used by different ranking systems? So this was the table which we shortened out, and all the criterias were different. There was no common criteria among all the three ranking systems. All were different. Moving on to the next one. What is the trend in university rankings over the years according to each systems? So since 2010, the average ranking score across all three rankings has risen. It's probably because of a number of things such as the growing demand for higher education, the growing globalization of higher education, and the growing competitiveness between universities and all the other criteria too. But yeah, this has risen up, and this thing also has filters according to the year or system name, ranking system name. So we can filter out according to that. If we want for a year, we can according to put it for a year, and if we want for a system name, we can put for a system name too, or we can use both also. So moving on to the sixth one. So how does the choice of ranking system affect the university's international student enrollment? So in the international student enrollment or recruitment at universities is influenced by universities' rankings. The selection of a ranking system can have a variety of effects on the enrollment of overseas students at an institution. Students like universities which are ranked higher, ranking system, and the students like to go in those universities, and that ranking adds to the but that and because that ranking adds to the marketing of the universities, more and more students are going to come to the that college to. On to the next one, that are there any criteria that have different weights in different ranking systems? So in this visual, as we can all see, the three ranking systems have use of some of the same criteria, including reputation among academics, productivity of research, and caliber of instruction. They do, however, give these factors differing weights. For instance, CWR places equal focus on research and instruction between the Shanghai ranking and the THU. So moving on to the next one. How have the weights of ranking criteria changed over time? So in this, let's take the Shanghai ranking has always placed a strong emphasis on research output, but over time it shifted its emphasis from citations to influence. The weights of influence and citations have changed over time according to the Center for World University Rankings. So over time, the weight of research production has decreased, while the emphasis on teaching quality has increased in the Times Higher Education World University Ranking, which is quite good. And these adjustments reflect the rising significance of teaching effectiveness and research impact in higher education. Universities are increasingly being evaluated on their capacity to conduct high quality research, which is very important, and it is a practical application, and this gives their students a high quality instruction for their life after that. So moving to the next one, is there a relationship between a university score and the student staff ratio? So the chart in table, which is not present here, but yeah, which was there, but do not clearly show a connection between the university score and its student staff ratio. Only 0.03 correlation coefficient there, which is a very low value for for the two variables. So the score of a university cannot be predicted by the student staff ratio because there is a very little link between the two variables. So moving on to the next one. How does the number of female students differ among universities? So the fact that some universities are situated in nations with a smaller gender gap in education is the reason why the proportion of female students varies among the universities, which is one of the most basic reasons of this. So moving on to the next one. What is the distribution of universities across different countries? So we have a map and plot two, which gives us that how many universities are there. So this map kind of shows all that how is the number of universities in all the countries and all the criteria regarding it. So going to the next one. How has the ranking of universities changed over the years? So depending on the college or universities, there have been changes like in the chart and table you can see, for example, take Harvard University, which performed very well till 2011, but then a drop came in its ranking. But from 2016, it has started getting better again. So there is a slight, you know, curve in this. Going to the next one. So what is the trend in the percentage of female students over time? So the percentage of female students has been rising throughout time. It briefly fell before beginning to rise once more. So the graph shows that there are now more female students enrolled in university around the world. So moving on to the next one. How has the ranking score of universities evolved over the years? So over time, universities' rating scores have gotten better since 2010. The Center for World University Ranking, Shanghai Ranking, and Times Higher Education World University Ranking have all experienced significant increase in their average ranking scores. So which is a pretty good thing for the last years. So moving on to the last question. So is there a relationship between a university's ranking score and the number of students over time? So basically, no students remain for a college. No students remain for college every year, but the average score changes every year. Like here in the image, for example, Harvard University. So here we can see that Harvard number of students did not change, while there were changes in the average score. So yeah, change a quite little bit of things. So this is all of it. Thank you.